Hello, welcome to Create at Home Funky Figures with the Everett Public Library. For this project, you'll need an empty plastic bottle, so take a look at your recycling. It can be a bottle from dish soap, possibly mustard or ketchup. Liquid hand soap bottles work. Water bottles work as well. And then you'll need white glue or flour, which we'll talk about in a little bit. An old paintbrush helps for the glue. Newspaper or craft paper, masking tape, and it's helpful to have something for the head, a round or oval object, and it might be helpful to have wire as well. The process to make a funky figure. You'll use the empty bottle as a form. You'll create arms, legs, and head, possibly a skirt, shirt, things like that, with the paper and tape and optionally wire. You'll cover it with several coats of paper mache, then you'll paint and add finishing touches. This project would work for elementary age and up. The younger kids might need some adult help. There are many options with this project. You can make arms and legs out of rolled paper. You don't have to make legs at all. The head can be made of paper, an Easter egg, a spool, anything you can find. It doesn't have to be a human. You could turn the bottle sideways and make a pig, for instance. It's your creation. It's funky, and just have fun with it. Do it however you like. There are ways to look at your bottle to see how you want to use it. For instance, you might want to make the neck of the bottle into the neck of the person if you're making a person. Or you might want to make the neck of the bottle the torso and the rest of the bottle the dress, for instance, and put a head and arms on the top. A little bit about legs. If you want to make a standing figure, and one of the two I made was standing, you will need to attach the feet to something heavy or stable like a box or maybe an empty coffee can to support it, because with just two legs it's very hard for it to stay standing up. Now if you're making an animal, you won't have that problem because there'll be four legs. If you want a seated figure, you can just make bent legs or jointed ones like the ones I made. If you don't want to bother with legs, like we said before, the plastic bottle could be a long dress. You don't need any legs. So here's the process of how I made mine. I wanted to use wire, so I drilled some holes through the bottle and stuck the wire through. You don't have to do that. If you wanted to use wire and didn't have a drill, you could wrap it around the bottle and tape it on. It might be unstable for a little while, but once you put the paper mache on, it will become strong. Then I added the top part of the legs, then the feet and the bottom part of the legs were added on after that. I drilled another hole for the arms and got those started. Okay, now I'm moving on to the arms and the tape. On the left, you'll see the upper arms were added, and then I added this bottom part of the arms with the hands, which are very simply made. Then I began wrapping it with masking tape. You can use the blue tape or regular masking tape. Either works just fine. Okay, the paper mache. On the left you'll see I added more tape, and then I began to build up the arms and legs with the paper mache. For the head on mine, I used a small gourd-like thing that I got in a package from a thrift store. It was sort of a seed pod. So there are lots of things you can use for heads. Then the paper was added all over the figure, a couple of different layers, and then it was very wet and I needed to let it dry for a couple days. About paper mache. When I taught this class to adults, I did find a few people who had never done it. There are some great videos online about how to do it, the simple process of just the basics. And then there are tons of amazing projects you can see online. I added a few links in the description of this video. You can make your own paper mache glue out of flour and water, which is how a lot of people did it in the past. I like the watered down glue a little bit better because it seems stickier It's suggested to use half glue and half water, but I usually just add a bit of water at a time until it gets to the consistency that I think sticks well, but is runny enough that it's not hard to work with. You can use a brush to add more glue if you have a dry piece of paper, or to smooth down edges, or you can even use the brush completely to add the glue onto the figure and then add paper if you don't like the feeling of sticking your hands into the glue. But most people just use their hands and get messy. Painting. After a few days have gone by and your figure is all dry, you can paint it. And you can use artist's acrylics, the kind in the tube, or you can use the craft paint, which is also a type of acrylic paint. You can probably use tempera paint. You might even be able to use watercolor. So just try out what you have and see if it works well. You can also add things like a belt or a scarf or a necklace. That's what I did with mine. On the right hand figure, you'll see I added a macrame necklace to try to make her neck look a little less crazy. And then you can add it on and paint it if you wanted to, like the belt on the left is painted. So just make it funky and make it yours. Decorate it however you like. Okay, some inspirational images to get you excited about making a funky figure yourself. These are all made with the bottom part of the bottle being a long dress. None of these people made legs for their creations. And the ones on the right-hand side, that was an elementary age class that made those, which I thought were really amazing. The ones in the center are gorgeous. This artist makes tons of these, and they're all different. And here are a few more made the same way with the long dress look and no legs added. I hope you're inspired to make a funky figure of your own. Thanks for creating with the Everett Public Library.